Everyone talks about the strongest villains in One Piece, but one of the weakest is actually one of the most dangerous, because Hody Jones isn't driven by trauma, he's driven by inherited hatred, making him one of Oda's most realistic creations. Hody Jones idolizes Arlong, but there's one key difference between them. Arlong hates humans because of lived experience. He was enslaved, brutalized, dehumanized. His hatred is wrong, but it has a source. Hody, when asked what humans ever did to him, his answer is nothing. And yet he's more violent, more extreme, more obsessed with wiping them out and anyone who believes in coexistence. That's what makes Hody terrifying. He's a perfect example of what happens when hatred is passed down to young, malleable minds. And then there's the real world parallels. We're watching the radicalization of young men who don't hate because of what they've experienced, they hate because of what they've absorbed. They inherit resentment from role models, they mirror anger they didn't earn, they internalize entitlement without reflection. Becoming a well-rounded person takes work. It takes self-reflection, accountability, growth, and when that feels hard, what's easier than blaming it on everyone else and choosing resentment instead? Here's another important difference. Arlong hated humans, but he understood them. He negotiated, he traded, he recognized they had their own autonomy. He knew what humans were capable of because he lived it, which is also why he feared them. Hody doesn't understand humans at all. Everything he knows is rooted in fear. Fear of coexistence, fear of losing status, fear of becoming irrelevant. And that same fear shows up in radicalized young men today. Not fear of others, but a fear of failure. As the world changes, as traditional hierarchies shift, some men feel their assumed place slipping away. There are two responses to that. One, you can do the inner work, adapt, grow, build something new, or you can blame the path of least resistance. Blame the world, cling to entitlement, reject responsibility. That's why Hody treats even his allies as expendable. Entitlement is rooted in scarcity, and scarcity breeds competition, not community. Even Hody's obsession with artificial strength, the steroids, the performative power, mirrors insecurity trying to look like dominance, something we are seeing in the misogynistic fitness spaces online. And then there's Luffy. One of the best parts of how Luffy defeats Hody, and many villains like him, is that he never asks about their backstory, because hatred doesn't need justification. And this is important, harm doesn't deserve empathy before accountability. The most dangerous villains aren't always the strongest. Sometimes they're the ones who hate for no good reason at all.